them for any occasion and utilise any design ideas you might have. There are lots of different colour options in the mixed card packs from Paper Mill Direct. Each pack has about 5 different colours of card with 2 sheets of each colour. Today I am using the Luxury Caramel cardstock. So I've decided to use these 2 colours, which is a pearlised and a glitter card, because I want quite a lot of bling on this card today. To get everything prepared, you will need 1 piece of card, which is 4 inches wide and 11 inches long. So the second piece of card is 4.5 inches trimmed from the bottom of a piece of A4. You will need to cut 4 times 1/8 of an inch strips from the end of it and choose a sentiment to cut out later. You will also need to cut 2 1/8 of an inch strips from a scrap of black card and a piece of acetate cut to 3 inches by 8 inches. This will form the bridge. So that's everything ready to assemble. The first thing we need to do is to score the ends of the long piece of card at 1.25 inches and 2.25 inches. So once you've done one side, you need to rotate the card and repeat on the other side. Fold and burnish once you've done the score lines using your bone folder. Make sure that the inner score lines are folded into the centre of the card and the outer score lines are folded back towards the edges of the card. So I decided to add a little interest to the background of the card by using some Distress Oxide walnut stain and a small blending brush, using a stencil. Basically did one side and then rotated the stencil. It was very easy to line up because it was striped, and just added that colour to the back of the card just to give it a little bit of added interest really. If you are planning to use an ink on a pearlised type card, make sure to dry it carefully with your heat tool before you start trying to do any further assembly, otherwise it'll just smudge and it'll look terrible. Next we need to assemble the bridge. I'm adding the sentiment using a tape runner simply because I always make a mess on acetate with liquid glue. So the sentiment needs to be glued and affixed to the acetate using your preferred adhesive. Next we need to affix the bridge onto the base of the card, just using double-sided tape because you're not going to see the acetate or the fixings because we are going to cover it with those little strips. So we need to add a piece of double-sided tape to the outer side of the outside score line because that's where the bridge is going to sit, and we have to line up our piece of acetate or card, whichever you've chosen to use, and centre it up nicely and then stick it down. For this particular card we have the gold and black trim to tidy up the sides and hide the edge of that acetate and the tape. So add another piece of tape, add the strips one by one, making sure the first one is close to the burnish line and then the other 2 are butted up against the first one. Now we need to take a piece of low tack tape of some description, fold the bridge in and tape it down so that will position the other side of your bridge for you nicely. Add another piece of double-sided tape and we're basically going to repeat what we did on the other side. So trim the acetate if you need to, add your piece of double-sided tape, centre up the bridge and stick that down. Then we're going to repeat what we did on the other side and add the trimmings in the same way, using one gold strip, one black strip and one gold strip. The only thing left to do now is remove the low tack tape and open up the bridge so you can see the shape of the card. Trim off the excess of the strips on all four edges, and that is it. The card could be finished at this point if you so choose. So I have decided to add a couple of small sentiments as well onto the acetate, just using a piece of tape runner. Fix them on the acetate so they look like they're floating. Now, as you can see, this card is quite striking, and it folds flat for posting, so you just fold it down. This particular size will fit into a DL sized envelope, so you can stick it in the post and it should travel quite well. But I haven't finished. The person I'm making the card for absolutely loves bling, so I've cut myself a couple of strips of this just stick on diamante trim, and I am adding it to the outside edge of the base piece of card. As you can see here, I had actually cut one extra line of diamante too much, so waste not, want not in crafting, that's my motto. So I decided to use that little piece that I'd off cut and stick it just up the edge of the small floating sentiments, and that for me finishes the card off and ties everything in nicely. So as you can see, the card still folds flat for posting. Obviously it's slightly heavier than it was, but I know that the person this is intended for is going to absolutely love all that sparkle and bling. This bridge card technique really can be used for any occasion. You can make it in either landscape or portrait. The base can be decorated with patterned paper, inked or embellished with anything flat. The bridge can be made from acetate as shown today, or card, or any other embellishment that is able to span the gap. So that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this video and I've given you some great ideas. Bye for now.